All right, the Team Associated B7.1 is here. Just want to talk about the build a little bit as well as share some running footage and my after run thoughts. So here's what the buggy looks like. As you can see, I'm actually running my B7 body, just to change the sticker there. So this is fully compatible. I'm pretty sure the body and the wing are exactly the same, so I just grabbed it off there. Didn't bother painting the body or anything like that. Pulling this thing off, we'll kind of talk about what I'm actually running in my buggy. I'm running a Savix 1267 SG servo. I'm running a Hobbywing XR10 stock spec ESC, ARX 482R receiver, which is compatible with, Stanwa radios, Team Power's Xenium 17.5 turn motor. This is a little bit of an older one, the V4. And then I'm also running the steel ESC tray from the B7 that I was running. It's totally compatible, exact same size, all that kind of stuff. Then make some changes to kit it up. Out of the box, I'm running 1 degree of rear toe in. That's generally what I run. My local carpet track has tons of traction. The gear differential, I'm also running 2 gear rather than the stock 4 gear. And I'm running 200K diff oil instead of the stock 100K oil. Other than that, optional servo horn. And I think that's pretty much it out of the box. Otherwise, totally kit setup, even the upside down shocks, the battery position, everything is totally stock. I am running some WITS optional parts, fan, keep the motor cool, some wing buttons, and then as well as the wheel nuts. So yeah, those obviously fit right on. So yeah, there's a quick look at the buggy. In terms of any build issues, the only problem I had was one of the ball studs, like the threading was wrong, so I just had to replace that. Not a big deal. I did find there's a lot of extra screws and stuff. Not everything is going to be needed to build it, depending on how you build it. The shocks do have 2 options on how you want to mount it, so that's probably part of it. I'm not really sure what the rest of the screws are, but I think I got everything on there. Otherwise, yeah. But yeah, there's a quick look at the build as well as what I actually put on. Let's take it out to the track now. Okay, there's some running footage of the B7.1 on the track. Definitely just spent a few packs just kind of getting it dialed in, getting the slipper set right. I had a motor wire kind of go bad on me. One of my wheels actually spun a heck, so actually had to swap out the rear wheel, one of the rear wheels. Yeah, and then just setting the ride height, all that kind of stuff. So I'm running 12 millimeters of ride height. Yeah, and the buggy worked pretty well, just trying different tires. These have a lot of traction. Probably need to do a little bit of modification, gluing sidewalls and stuff, but they worked pretty well overall. Buggy is good. Didn't break anything, which is always nice. It seemed to drive quite well. I do feel like it's a little more rear weight bias than the B7. That one was a little more centralized. Seemed to carry corner speed a little bit more. This is, you know, actually quite good. A little more rear bias though. You can kind of tell, in my opinion. So it does drive a little bit differently, but you know, I had a rear sway bar, you know, link kind of loosened on me, so I had to tighten that down. But once I kind of got everything all figured out, it seemed to drive really well. And by the end of the day, I was actually pretty happy with how it drove. I think this kit setup is pretty good. I also actually drove my 22X AC the same day. Only got about a few laps in that. I actually lost a motor wire off the ESC there, so I have to resolder that. So I didn't get a ton of time on that. I definitely want to do a little more setup with the 22X. One thing I will say is the shock package on that is definitely better than the Associated stuff, in my opinion. Team Associated shocks aren't necessarily the best, so a lot of people go with Kashima code shocks or machined internals, that kind of thing, and maybe you'd want to do that with this. Maybe a little bit more pack in the rear as well. I think they're like 1.8 piston, 2x1.8, something like that. I feel like I want a little bit more pack. But drove well, tons of steering, carried corner speed quite well, very, you know, pretty stable and I think relatively predictable as well. So by the end, you know, I kind of got used to it running on a brand new track as well. The layout was totally different, so kind of getting used to that. But by the end, yeah, everything was working quite well. So pretty happy with it overall. So yeah, no real qualms. I think the buggy drives really well compared to the 22X AC. A lot of people are wondering which one is better. The 22X AC, I will say the quality of the build I think is higher. I feel like the parts, the machining, the quality of everything is a little bit better. I think the assemblies also, I like it a little bit better. You know, there's fewer parts on part trees. Everything's bagged a little bit better in my opinion. You kind of go one bag at a time, and then once you're done with the bag, you have no leftover parts. You know, like I mentioned, the B7.1 had a lot of leftover parts, but the way they actually drive this, I think the kit setup is better out of the box. So if you're not into tuning or, you know, trying to modify things or getting exactly how you want, I think the B7.1 a little bit better out of the box. The 22X AC, I can definitely tell I want to move things around a little bit. Probably need to cut down that rear wing. That's part of it. But yeah, overall, both buggies are good. Between the two, I don't think you know, make a mistake. The B7, I would say, is probably a little bit worse than 22X AC, but the B7.1, I think, is at least equal, maybe a little bit better depending on what you like out of a buggy. But yeah, they have a winner here. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more reviews soon. Thanks for watching.